Yuki Tachibana, the villain who appeared in the chapter number 3 of the Sokushi Cheat series, really had the potential to be incredibly more dangerous and powerful than we could imagine. He perhaps could be as strong as any of the broken protagonists of the series we have around us. Kage no Jitsuryoku, Harifureta, Tate no Jusha, anyone you want, Yuki could reach and even surprise them, because the extent of his dominator ability was even more dangerous than you could imagine. He might have even become a worse catastrophe that AIZ would go from the Overlord series. Going deeper into the power of this now decreased chapter, we realize that his level was more than 10,000. The average human was between level 1 to 5. Those who dedicate themselves to hunting monsters at level 30 to 40. Humans who reached their natural limit at 99. From the on they needed a special class to continue climbing indefinitely, but he, in a matter of just 4 days, had reached this absurd value thanks to the instruct powers of him. Well, Dominator, he have the function of spreading as if he were a virus, a plague. Once the domain was grafted onto a host, he could graft in onto other people. All he had to do was step on the head and domination immediately took over his body. Just as zombie begin to spread, so does the domination skill, and this new man, already enslaved, can follow Yuki's direct order as if he were completely his master and lord, as if he had obtained a remote control that allows him, as his name say, to control all of his actions. And not only that, the experience points that this guy acquired from killing monsters or other human beings, half to them were sent directly to the main owner, the head of the hive, that is him. Therefore, by just freezing a loose slave who dedicate himself to continuing infecting other people so that they would begin to follow the master's order, only 4 days were enough for him to reach 1,000,000 slaves, which constantly worked to expand his domain and offered him experience point, an act that made him incredibly arrogant. The amount of power he was absorbing and accumulating began to run rampant. Rampant. And although he went to several nearby dungeons to try to test his new abilities, the only conclusion he came to was that he had become the strongest, because there were no longer basic enemies in the world that could confront him. His power was so absurd that weapons did not damage his skin. His attacks generate insta-kill with all of these adversaries and opponents. His magical power burden of infinity. And as icing of the cake, the tamer skills also allowed him to absorb all the other skills of the people who were under his chain. Acquiring his magic, his spell, his no-elect, everything was at his disposal. Incredibly broken, don't you think? He had an infinity repertoire of the skills and techniques that he would never be able to comprehend or understand them all. Therefore, he himself in his consciousness already considered himself as a sage, or even something superior to them, a god. And taking a somewhat realistic aspect of this series, we realize that human beings are human. In fact, the series gives us the perspective of that a 15-year-old teenager who is given a little bit of power could do. go crazy, become the most arrogant person of all, and believe that the world I'm sorry, and believe that the world is or exists only to several you. His story good and tragic when he encouraged an inamovible wall, a man possessing the rune of the true dead, and with that it would simply be the end of one of the chapters who could possibly have become the strongest of all the Isekai, but who was never able to flourish.